Right, can everyone hear me now? You can. Okay, yeah, I was muted. Well done me. Hello everyone, welcome back to BRL. This is round 9, and we are at Imola for what should be the continuation of a very exciting championship so far. Not many people here today, just the 12, but 12 of the finest for your viewing pleasure, and we maybe have one more joining in qualifying. I believe that is Jackalacco and maybe Ports, although he says he has a Liverpool game, so maybe not. I'll do a quick run through of the standings so you guys know what's going on. Driver standings, we have Rick at the top, as he has been for a while, but he is here today, as you're watching him right now, but he is driving on controller, so maybe not going to be the best race for him. I know he likes similar on wheel, but controller is completely different as Jacko has joined. Lovely. We have Lifebout, who is on a wheel today on 143 points behind on Rick's 165. I've got R. Henson, who is up there in 140, and I don't know how he's done that. So fair play to him. I've got Mr. Cookie on 129, who's leading maybe 3 or 4 rounds ago, so he's dropped off, and then Sim Guy, he doesn't matter, he's not here. And in the constructors, we have Alpha Tauri pretty clear at the top, 253 to McLaren's 220, and both of those teams are fully here, as Rick seems to have gone very wide up the track. And we will stay on board with him for the first lap of BRL 9, as I do the wrong map setting. There we go. So we'll take you through a lap. Don't expect any fancy commentary from me. We're gonna watch him together. So he's gonna come up to turn 1, hopefully get his lap off to a nice start. And he's yeah, you can tell he's on controller because he's taken that. He's taken like Jimmy Jags. So that's a shame for him. Clearly not maybe up to speed yet on the controller. It's very hard to go from wheel to controller, but he has set the fastest first sector, so well done for him. Obviously the only first sector, so we'll have to see where he can put it. Behind we've got Imola Matt on a fast lap. We'll see whether he can go quicker. I imagine he can, and he hasn't. Okay, Rick's doing well, and he looks like he has backed off as Mr. Cookie has done the fastest first sector, no surprise there. We've got Lifebout on an outlap who has not started his left, so we will run on board with Mr. Cookie for a bit, taking it nicely down the left-hander, just on the white line there, got away with an invalidation, but yeah, you want to be as close to the white line as possible, as Hazard does a 1:17.3, a little bit off the pace. You want to be looking at, I'd say with the pace of Lifebout and Mr. Cookie, I think anywhere in the mid-15s is going to be a good time, and maybe not even better enough for top 2. So we'll have to wait and see. But Mr. Cookie is coming up to the final 2 corners. Hopefully keep it nice and tidy. Doesn't take much curb on the exit, and doesn't take up much curb on the last corner either. So putting in a bank lap here, we'll have to see what time he comes across and does. And he has done a 15.4. That's bloody rapid. So there you go. He's saying that mid-15 wouldn't be good enough. That is very quick from Mr. Cookie, so he has been putting in the practice, but it looks like Lifebout has gone a little bit quicker in the first sector. Rick, who has, I don't know what happened to him, but it may be invalidated. Pink Eye, another quick driver, we'll have board with him as he goes into, I'll say Aqua Minerale, I think. Takes it quite steady and gets the power down nicely, and we'll have to go into the chicane. There's 2 chicanes, isn't there? I can't quite remember the names of both, so you'll have to excuse me. He has a little moment on the outside, but gets on the power nicely. Jimmy Jags is putting in a 17.7, and R. Henson is putting in a 16.3. So just the 4 times so far. We'll see what, I believe Lifebout is coming across the line, or is he? No, he is. We'll have to see where he can go fastest, and he does with a 15.3. So about half a tenth quicker than Mr. Cookie, but some seriously quick times being set already, as Pink Eye goes about 7/10 back from the 2 guys in front. Elsewhere we have Imola Matt. It's perfect timing, as he has spun and lost his end plates, and Eric Blake is on an outlap. So we are just looking at Jackalacco, who's starting his. So that might be it for now. Although Essex Perry's gone quickest in the first sector, so fair fucks to him, as Ports has joined. So I guess better late than never. See whether he can have a clean race. That would be nice. Essex Perry coming up to Minerali, gets it done nicely. Looks like a pretty good lap from him. I don't know whether the game is glitched and he didn't do the fastest first sector, but it looks like he's taking it very nicely. But no purple second sector for him. So he'll be open to put in a good time. He's currently on a 19.6, although he has already set a time, so maybe this might be... He might be going into the pits, and all this time has been wasted to back away and see. Please don't go into the pits. If he doesn't, so we'll see what he can do. And he does an 18.3, very nice from him. It puts him... Oh, it doesn't take him in the funny positions. Rick has done a 21.2, sorry. So maybe not going to be the best race from him. But, I mean, you score points up to... As it is an 18.6, so yeah. 3 seconds improvement, so the next lap he will be on a 15.6, so he's right up there. As it looks like Jacko has gone into P6 with a 17.1. So a bit of field spread at the moment, which is pretty unsurprising considering there is only 10 drivers who have set a lap. So obviously the track proving a bit tricky for the bottom 3 at the moment, who are all in the pits. But so far we have Lifeboat on provisional pole with a 15.399, which is a very quick time. And obviously Mr. Cookie and Lifeboat are the 2 championship... are Henson as well, I guess you could say, but maybe the Lifeboat and Mr. Cookie have the pace over our Henson. Maybe has the consistency. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, Mr. Cookie and Lifeboat looking very good at the moment. They are chasing down the leader who's in P10. So this could be a big swing in the championship. I know Rick's had it fairly under control until now. But yeah, circumstances out of his control, meaning that he cannot put in the performance he would want. Looks like we have a Ferrari on track. That is Aero Blake. Sadly, his last race for a while here, so he's obviously got other stuff to deal with, which is fair enough. But we will enjoy a lap on board with Aero Blake as a commemorating his time. He's been here basically since the very start, and I've had the pleasure of having a bunch of races against him for wins and podiums. So yeah, I'd be sad to see him go, but hopefully he can pick up a good result in his last race, and hopefully it's not his last race and he comes back sometime soon. So we will jump on board with him at some point. So it looks like we've got Hazard on a lap that he's just invalidated, and Essex Perry on a lap that he's just invalidated. Cheers guys. Jimmy Jack on a lap that he's just invalidated. So you guys are really making this easy for me. And other than that, we have Mr. Cookie out for another lap. Yeah, other than that, not much going on at the moment. Maybe Lifeboat thinking he has it under control, and maybe... Oh, fuck's sake, yep. Of course he's come out as I say that. So we will see what second time these guys can post, and we'll see if Pink Eye can get a little bit closer, because currently he is 7 tenths back, which is probably 7 tenths further back than he would want to be. So we'll have to see what these guys can do. And other than that, we're going on. There we go. We'll go on board with Aero Blake, and we will see his first time of the day as he comes into turn 1, takes it nice and steady, jumps over the curb a little bit on turn 2 and on turn 3, but nicely done from him. Coming into, I don't know what this place is called, but he's done it very nicely, whatever it is, and looks to have done fastest in the first sector. I don't know if this game's glitched or not, so it might be a lot of fastest first sectors from random people. But if he has, then fair play to him. I'm very happy for him. We'll have to see what he could do coming into... Yeah, not going to be... I'm trying to remember the names, but I cannot. But I can remember the names for this one. Into Aqua Minerale, takes it nicely, down the gears, and getting on the power. A little wiggle on the steering wheel, but yeah, done nicely, as he looks like he has a... Well, maybe he's just passed him into the chicane. Takes it... Whoa! He took it very quickly and looks to have ruined his lap, although he, I imagine, will probably still go for it, considering he hasn't set a time. But yeah, looking like a good lap up until that point. And Mr. Cookie is on a lap. I missed his first sector, and looks like Lifeboat's just got to start his. So we'll go on board with Mr. Cookie as he's invalidated coming into Aqua Minerale. So not great from him. He will be annoyed that he has invalidated time and wasted a set of tyres potentially, unless he's planning on the third and final run being on a U set. We will go on board with Lifeboat coming into turn 1, and we'll have to see what time he can post in the first sector. Jumping over the curbs pretty heavily there, so he's obviously got the ride height set up pretty high or a very low suspension. So yeah, we'll see what he can do as he comes across the first sector split, and it is a purple sector time, I think. I don't know. In fact, I'll put on that's too late now. So he is looking good to extend his gap further up top. Mr. Pink Eye has done I don't know where Mr. Pink Eye's come from, has done a fastest second sector, so he is looking good for a I imagine pretty hefty improvement. I know he is good around this track, although he said he was trying some weird setup stuff, so who knows. And he is about to come across the finish line, and we will see what he can do. And he posts a 15.5, very good from him, so only 10th and a half off the fastest time. Mr. Cookie had validated, and Lifeboat takes it a little bit wide on the last corner. That might cost him a bit of time, but we'll see what he can do. I imagine probably going quicker, as he does a okay, of course he does a 15.0. That's fucking rapid from him. So he is looking very ominous at the moment. Obviously has been probably the quickest in most races this season. Obviously, I think he missed either a race or a sprint race. I think it may be a race and a sprint race. So would have been hoping to be up a little bit further in the championship, but yeah, it looks like Pink Eye's on his in lap. Elsewhere we have Jacko, who has been validated, although maybe I'm not sure. Hazard has done the fastest second sector, so very good for him. Took it a little bit easy on the chicane, but still nicely done. So we'll see what time he can post. Obviously on a 17.3 at the moment, which I think most people know he probably can go quicker. So let's see whether he can or he can't as he comes across the finish line to post a 16.2. It takes him all the way up to P4, but still a pretty hefty gap between the top 3 and 4th, which may be not good for the race. Last time when it was me and Carter, we watched a 3-way lead for the battle with everyone else pretty far behind, so hopefully we don't get the same. Rick looks like he's improved 3 tenths to bringing up from P11 to P11, and he's being beaten by Jimmy Jags, so that's going to sting, although Jimmy Jags is a very good driver, so maybe not. But currently Smithy still yet to set a time, sorry. And other than that, not much going on. Looks like we've got McLaren stopped on track, getting out of everyone's way pretty nicely. And we are, imagine, waiting for everyone to come out and do their final runs. Looks like Mr. Cockey's come out pretty early, so he's wanting to avoid the traffic, although I imagine there's not too bad with traffic this week with only 13 drivers. So yeah, he'll be hoping, I mean, a pretty big improvement needed if he wants to get up closer to Lifeboat, although if anyone can do it is Mr. Cookie, as he lets McLaren through very nicely. Aero Blake on an out, a lap maybe, yes, looks like it, as he cuts across the grass a little bit, so we'll have to see what he can do. Hasn't used much of his ERS, so maybe at a moment. Doesn't look like he's pushing a whole load. He's invalidated, so it doesn't matter anyway, and he's in the pits. So good commentator skills from him. RJ Blair looks like he is going a 10th and a half quicker than his best time, so he'll be hoping to push up into the top 4. We'll have to see what improvement he can make in the second sector, coming into Wack Minerali. You can tell that's the only corner name I know, so I'm going to abuse it. And he has gone, we'll wait and see, he has gone 3 tenths quicker, so yeah, looking good from him. It needs another 2 tenths improvement, takes it quite steady over the chicane. Looks like we have had someone go up quicker. I missed that. Maybe I'm a wild Matt into P6, unless my game's just glitching. But yeah, as I said, RJ Blair looking good to push himself up a bit higher. We'll have to see what he can do. A little bit wide on the last exit, but yeah, done it nicely. Doesn't really cut the track too much. Could have maybe cut it a little bit closer to the... Yeah, it looks like he lost a fair amount of time somewhere in that lap, but yeah, still well within the reach of P4, which would be very good for McLaren's constructors' chances, considering their main rivals AlphaTauri are first and fourth at the moment and are pretty comfortable first. We'll go on board with Mr. Cookie. Looks like I've missed his entire lap, but he is not looking like he's going to trouble Life out anytime soon. So unless he has a mega last two corners, he's really put. I look close to a validation there, but he's got fair play to him. Yeah, he did gain a lot of time, but not enough for P1 at the moment. And I imagine, does it look like Lifebout might stay in for this one? He might think he's safe, and Pink Eye does not look like he's coming out either, unless they are cutting it very close, and Lifebout does come out, and Pink Eye does come out. Right, nice one from me. So that is a bit of safety from Lifebout, hoping that he can push himself up even further into P1, and Pink Eye obviously hoping that he can have a massive gain of 6 or 7 tenths to put himself in with a shout of pole. Elsewhere we have Hazard on an outlap, we've got R. Henson on an outlap, and Aeroblake and Jacko. And Port has decided to join us, which is nice, and he has not set time yet. Smithy has invalidated and has done a 16.7 invalid, so that might be it for him. Doesn't look like, can't see his ERS, so that might be it for him, which is a shame. But we will ride on board with. Let's find out Henson getting out of the way, or having someone get out of the way nicely from Hazard. Just coming across to start his lap now. We'll see what he can do in the first sector. We will jump between Pink Eye and Lifebout, who are Lifebout obviously looking like the serious favourite for pole at the moment, and Pink Eye a bit of an outsider, but yeah, we know he's got pace, so hopefully he can push it up a bit further. Mr. Cookie in the pits, and it looks like we have had someone of a moment. Hazard has gone a 1/10.5 quicker, and I'm not trusting the purple sector unless Hazard has, I don't know, got super low downforce or high downforce, or was incredible in that section of track. Took it a bit wide on the left-hander there, maybe not clipping the apex. We'll be hoping to clip the apex into, you guessed it, Aqua Minerale, and does. It has a little spin, so that would cost him a little bit of time, but we'll see what his split is, and he is 2.5 tenths down, so not great from him, and he's invalidated. So that is a bit of a failed run from him, but he's still looking good for P4, and it looks like we've had Lifebouts in the gravel, so no improvement from him, which presents an opportunity to Pink Eye, who is a 10th up. It's going to need a little bit more improvement than that if he wants to have any chance of catching Lifebout, as qualifying is over now. So these will be the last laps that everyone does. Pink Eye cuts it nice and close on the whites line, and Aqua Minerale takes it nicely, getting on the power and flooring the throttle up to the chicane. And he is, well, he's lost a bit of time, if anything, so maybe a P3 for him at the moment, unless he can have a mega last sector. Elsewhere, looks like we've had Aeroblake on. I said I was going to stay on board with him, and I didn't. But he has put himself up into P5, Pink Eye's teammate, with a cracking lap of a 61, so good start from him. I think maybe his best qualifying all season, and Pink Eye comes across and does a 15.4. So yeah, a comfy P3. Looks like R. Henson has jumped Hazard into P4 and has done a 15.8, so a very good lap from him. And elsewhere, that looks like it's going to be it for now, unless SH Perry can do something crazy, which he can't, and Smithy has invalidated. So that is pretty much it for now. Rick down in P13, so didn't improve from the last time we've seen him. So he is going to just be hoping to trundle around and pick up the points, because I imagine that Smithy will be quicker than him. So it might be a good Rick Jimmy Jags battle, which will be good to see. We'll enjoy watching that. But yeah, that is your qualifying done for BRL round what is it, round 9? Yeah, round 9. And we have an unsurprising front row of Lifebout and Mr. Cookie. I feel like it's been that for maybe the last 4 or 5 races, and it definitely was last time out. And maybe put Pink Eye in third as well, actually. So yeah, these guys are pretty set in their quali pace, but race pace is a completely different thing. We know that Pink Eye probably will be on pace with Lifebout, or has been every time he's raced. Mr. Cookie, you never really know. Sometimes he is very quick, and sometimes he maybe drops back a bit, but he'll be hoping to keep up with the 2 around him. Yeah, and that is your final classifications. We've got Lifeboat on pole. P2 is Mr. Cookie. Then we've got Pink Eye, R. Henson, Aero Blake, Hazard, I'm Wild Mats, RJ Blair, Jack Halaka in P9. We've got Ports in P10, Essex Perry in P11, Jimmy Jags with a record high of P12, and we've got Rick with a record low in P13, and Smithy, who didn't even get around to set time. So there you go. That is your grid lineup as we wait for the race to start, and I'll check if anything in chat says about what's it called, weather. We'll have to wait and see because doesn't look like it. No, doesn't look like any rain at all. So yeah, Pink Eye, sorry, Lifeboat is very happy with his. Oh no, skies look a little bit grey, so maybe. But yeah, Pink Eye is very happy with his lap. Lifeboat, sorry, very happy with his lap, which is fair enough. It was a pretty cracking time, and we wait for the drivers to ready their setups, ready their tyre strategy, and fuel strategy, their tyre pressures, and we wait to get underway. This is the most I've ever done commentary on my own. Usually I have Carter here to help me and waffle, and he has his fancy graphics, which I do not have at all. So you're going to have to make do. I'm going to try my best, and actually I will do our Henson a favour and whip out some football scores. It's currently 0-0 between Liverpool and Wolves, and currently 0-0 between Arsenal and Everton, so very exciting. And Grimsby are beating Southampton, which is pretty incredible. As we have 4 people watching, hi guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment, maybe a super chat. Helps pay for me and some guys' rent. And we will look at the tyre strategies. So, Lifeboat has gone with hards. Mr. Cookie and Pink Eye behind him on the mediums. So that's going to make for an exciting first stint of the race, as we've had Aero Blake in the wall already, which is very impressive as my voice goes very high pitched. R. Henson in 4th on hards, and then everyone else on mediums. So first and 4th taking, well, a bit of, I would say a bit of a gamble, but maybe not, because with only 14 drivers, maybe the risk of a safety car is relatively low. I think we haven't had a safety car in fucking years, so yeah, we'll see if that one works out. Lifeboat might have, if he can stay ahead of Mr. Cookie and Pink Eye and weather the storm of their new tyres, then he is going to be looking very pretty with the overcut, the better tyre warm-up, and the better pace at the end of the race. So this might be an easy one for Lifeboat, but Mr. Cookie and Pink Eye behind him will be hoping to make sure that doesn't happen, as it looks like Lifeboat has gone for a spin somewhere. It has, we're watching him. So, I mean, that'll warm his tyres nicely. So maybe that's quite a good spin from him. But yeah, R. Henson, maybe not quite quick enough to travel the 2 ahead of him on the alternate strategy, but could very easily have a hash in the wall. So maybe there are going to be a few safety cars. We've got 15 people spin already on the formation lap. But yeah, he might have secured himself quite an easy P4, or we'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spoil it already. It looks like the Haas is struggling. I imagine that's Port. Yep, how did I know that? We wait for the lads to form up on the grid, do their tyre warm-up, tyre burnouts, and we'll get us underway. Hopefully no safety cars coming out before the 5 lights. That would be beautiful. Beautiful little spin from Pink Eye there, and Mr. Cookie is lining up nicely. I imagine Lifeboat will angle. He doesn't really angle too much. He's still facing the grass, so after a little bit of wheel movement on the start, which might affect him a little bit, especially with the hard tyres as well. So we will, at a horrific angle, so we will go on board with Mr. Cookie as we get to 5 red lights. And we are under, as Ports has, of course he has. So, bloody hell, he's such a dickhead. Mr. Cookie Pink Eye has got a very good start compared to Mr. Cookie and is looking to make it into P2, and he has done very nicely. Elsewhere down the grid, we will have a look at the position changes because I can't be able to go through everyone. So, Port's up 9 positions. That's crazy. Smithy has done a madness. Has gone up P4, and Jimmy Jags and Rick. So it looks like Essex Perry has a bit of a stinker at the start, but Lifeboat has done exactly what he was wanting to do and has maintained the lead on his hard tyres. But I imagine we'll have not Mr. Cookie, as it looks like Pink Eye probably picked up a warning there. But yeah, he'll have Pink Eye on the back of him pretty quickly, and I'm hoping for his sake, as much as everyone else's, that Ports comes into the pits at the end of this lap, because if not, that would be a big shame, because that's going to affect the lead of this race. And it looks like we have had looks like Hazard has had a moment at the back, and that's put him a couple of seconds off the back of the field as Ports. Right, okay. Fair enough, hopefully he lets everyone through. If he fights them, okay, yeah. He's letting them through quite nicely. So, yeah, somewhat fair play to him, although hopefully he doesn't hold up Mr. Cookie at all, because that's going to be a shame for Mr. Cookie if he loses DRS on the 2 ahead of him because of a drive-through runner. Elsewhere, R. Henson still within DRS of Mr. Cookie, or just dropped out of it, but and okay, Ports is fighting Mr. What are you doing? Right, okay, we're going to forget about Ports for a while. Yeah, Pink Eye well on the back of Lifeboat at the moment, so yeah, those medium tyres are really paying off for him at the moment. Wild Matt has dropped back out of DRS of R. Henson, Blake and Smithy right on the back of the Mercedes man. We've got Jimmy in a league of his own, a bit of track of his own, as Rick is overtaken by Jack Alacco. So Rick, yeah, I imagine this is going to be him wanting a P11. I think he'll do well to grab a P11, and that's that's still 9 points. It looks like Ports has come into the pits. Well done, he's got a brain. And that has, that's fucked over Mr. Cookie a little bit, I can't lie, because he is going to have to, as Rick's left the session. That is not good for him. And looks like the 2 back runners are a little bit of pushing onto the curbs there from Essex Perry, but Hazard luckily got away with it, and we'll be hoping to come back at Essex Perry. R. Henson doing a very good job to maintain a pretty good gap to the Mercedes behind him and the front running trio ahead of him. So could he be a factor in this race? We'll have to find out. Cloud's still looking a little bit grey. I'm just going to have a sip of beer, if you'll excuse me. Mr. Cookie is closing up to the back, so hopefully he hasn't had to use much. He hasn't. Although, used less than 2 ahead of him. So he's looking like he's got some good pace, although I imagine Pink Eye is being held up a little bit. But yeah, Mr. Cookie being brought back into this after being portsed. And R. Henson dropping back a little bit now. So I have jinxed both of them. And it looks like Rick looks like he's dropped back because of that disconnection. Although, I imagine he's back in just about now. So this is not going well for him so far, but I imagine, as I said, it's not about that. Pink Eye not being able to make the move on Lifeboat just yet. Mr. Cookie has dropped back, so I don't know what's happening there. Maybe wants to use a little bit more ERS to push up and grab the... I imagine he's listening to this, or one of them is listening to this, so Mr. Cookie probably wants to burn a little bit of his ERS to push up to the DRS zone of the 2 aheads, unless he's going for some alternate strategy. We'll have to wait and see. R. Henson continues to fall back, but that's not really his race at the moment. He's just going to be wanting to hold back the guys behind him, maybe build a gap and secure probably a quite comfy P4, but obviously he'll be hoping to push up a bit further if he can. Further down the field we have Jimmy Jags closing up to Jack Alacco by burning every bit of ERS he's got. That's what we've done there. taking the chicane very nicely. Well done, Jimmy. Hazard has dropped back a bit, although looked like he might have got past SX Perry, and Mr. Cookie has got him within DRS. Has he taken my advice and burned? He has. No, maybe he's just quick. So that's very good from him. Well, that doesn't look like he has got the DRS on this lap. And we'll be hoping, dropping about as Pink Eye. Yeah, sorry, I've missed that. Pink Eye has made a very nice move on Lifebout into P1, and we'll be hoping to streak away, build that gap, get out the DRS as quickly as possible. I imagine we'll be burning a bit of ERS because with the different tyre strategy, he does not want Lifebout sitting behind in his DRS, burning or saving ERS, saving tyre life, and potentially bringing Mr. Cookie back into it as well, who has really closed up. So he's got pace with less or more. God, I'm not very good at words today, am I? More ERS than 2 ahead of him. Looks like he might have picked up a warning there. Warnings will be a factor in this race. It's very easy to pick up quite a few. I know the top guys usually don't pick up that many warnings, but you never know. And one 3-second penalty, or one penalty at all. We saw last race Rick picking up the 5 seconds, ruined his entire race. Well, I say entire race, ruined the win for him. And it can be done as easy as that, picking up 3 warnings or speeding into the pit lane. So you've got to be careful. Mr. Cookie has got the DRS for this lap, so he is well back in this as Pink Eye goes and sets the fastest lap. And it looks like Lifebout is just going to sit behind for the moment. So that thing I said that Pink Eye is not going to want is exactly what is happening. And Lifebout is looking very pretty at the moment for a what would be a 3rd win of the season, maybe 2nd, I'm not sure. I should know, I do the stats. And it looks like Smithy has got past Blake, and Hazard has got past Jimmy Jags. Jackalacko in a world of his own at the moment, as is Rick, as is SX Perry, and Ports is out of the way of everyone, 7 seconds back. That's a win-win. Henson, really dropping off at the moment, but as I said, probably not his race, and he's doing a very good job of keeping the 2 Mercedes boys behind him, who are on the medium tyres. So maybe Imola Matt going to make a move on this lap. The mediums, I imagine, will still be pretty significantly quicker at the moment, although Lifebout is putting pain to that trend, as Imola Matt picks up a 3-second penalty, the first penalty of the day, and Ports decides that he wants to join him and picks up one as well. Up to the front, let's see if Lifebout wants to make a move. No, he doesn't. You can tell he's playing this tactically and saving his ERS. I imagine saving a bit of tyres, and he's doing a really good job at the moment, as they are pulling pretty heavily away from the rest of the pack. So we're going to get another 3-way fight. Hopefully it stays a 3-way fight this time, and Hazard sets the fastest lap, so fair fucks to him. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Fair play to him. It looks like he burned a lot of ERS to do that, but that's another point for him at the moment, and he'll be hoping to close up to the back of Jackalacko, Blake, and Smithy ahead of him. Matt did not manage to get the move done on our Henson, who was doing a very good job on the hard tyres, and looking very good at the moment. So we were talking about the strategy potentially, and it looks like the hard runners are doing a fantastic job at the moment to secure what I imagine they would want in a P1 and a P4 respectively. So that'll be good for them, both Lifebout's championship and our Henson's championship actually. Obviously he would close up on the championship leader, which is Rick, who is currently down in P12 in a world of his own, and is you can tell he's on controller. That is one jerky steering wheel, but he's doing well, to be fair to him. I imagine he's only had a few hours practice on that, so to be relatively keeping up with at least anyone is very good. Very good going for him. He's obviously a very talented driver. Looks like Ports has had a spin. What a shame. Jimmy Jags is showing Ports how it's done and doing a fantastic job in the top 10 at the moment, cruising, and has even got back a bit of ERS. So looking good for Jimmy Jags at the moment. Up to the front, no change really. Lifebout is conserving the ERS, as is Pink Eye, and Mr. Cookie pretty anonymous at the moment in terms of Ports has got 5 seconds. What a shame. Pretty anonymous at the moment in terms. yeah, I'll try again. Pretty anonymous at the moment in terms of fighting for any positions up front on track. But yeah, just staying back at the moment, not burning too much ERS and not doing too much to burn out his tyres or ruin his strategy in any way. But yeah, as I said, Lifeboat looking very good at the moment for another win. He'll be hoping just to keep it steady, keep it clean, and keep it as fast as we know he can do. And this will probably be his, which is the worst scenario for everyone around him. And it looks like Mr. Cookie has gone and set the fastest lap of the race. So well, we know he's got pace now. It looks like Ports is, yeah, that's good. Maybe Mr. Cookie looking to make a move on the main straight, but thought better of it. And it looks like behind him, Imola Matt is still tucked up behind the hard runner of our Hansen. So as Life has had a spin. Okay, well that makes it a little bit more interesting because he is going to lose a bit of time getting that gravel off the tyres. And this is a chance for Mr. Cookie and Pink Eye to really break away because it looked like they were quicker. So Lifeboat is really going to have to push now if he wants to maintain his strategy advantage, although it looks like he is closing in a bit on Mr. Cookie, who is dropping back from Pink Eye, and Pink Eye has sensed this as a real opportunity because he is burning the ARS and is clearly pushing. So he has, yeah, he's taken that in his stride and is going to be looking to push on ahead, and hopefully for him, no, I'm unbiased, hopefully for him, Mr. Cookie can actually hold up Lifeboat a little bit and make this maybe more of an interesting race than it was going to be, as Pink Eye chooses not to use any DRS on the main straight and goes and sets the fastest lap anyway. So he's got pace, Mr. Cookie has got pace, and Lifeboat behind him has got pace, but has also got dirt on his tyres after that spin, although he has closed up maybe a couple of tenths to Mr. Cookie. So the hards are, I imagine, coming in to their own. Smithy has been overtaken by Aero Blake, who is pushing his way up after looks maybe like a shoddy first lap, but just about saves it. And maybe the Mercedes behind him is going to make a move into the chicane. Nicely done for both of them. Maybe Aero Blake going to send one up the inside. He doesn't, thinks better of it, and looks like we've got a yellow flag in his. That's Rick, isn't it? Right, so Rick is, well, I mean, at the moment all he needs to do is keep it on track and drag it to the finish line, because P12, that's 8 points, I believe. So damage limitation for him. He doesn't need to drive fast at all. He just needs to get to the end, and you never know, late safety car, and he might jump up a couple of positions with penalties. Elsewhere up the top, Lifeboat has really closed into Mr. Cookie, so those hards are looking good at the moment, and Mr. Cookie hasn't particularly fallen back from Pink Eye. So after that little scare for Lifeboat, he's still in the driving seat, even if he hadn't. If this was his position anyway, as he goes and sets the fastest lap of the race. So yeah, he's looking very good at the moment, and Mr. Cookie does not particularly put up much fight, gets out of the way, and Lifeboat soars through into P2. Looking to close down on the P1 he held a couple of laps ago. While Matt has got past our Henson, and our Henson has murdered him. That's not very good. That's a shame for both of them. I'll try it. I'll try again. Matt has dropped back quite a few positions. So yeah, that's not great for him. It's unlucky for him, as it looks like Smithy has got past Aero Blake. So those two trading positions nicely. Yeah, there's not much going on at the back. It's pretty solitary running for most of them, although we have Essex Perry on the back of Jimmy Jag, so maybe he'll stay on board with this battle for a little bit between our two favourite drivers, as Essex Perry is looking to get past Jimmy Jags with a lot more ERS and seemingly better lines at the moment. Hopefully Jimmy can keep it on track going up to Aqua Minerale. Can he? Oh, Essex Perry can't, and picks up a 3-second penalty. So these guys are trading warnings at the moment, but we'll stay on board with them until the main straight, as Lifeboat has gone and set an 18.4, which is 5 tenths quicker than his previous best. So he's pushing on here. He's really pushing on, and is looking to take back that P1 that I imagine he believes he deserves. Essex Perry has punted Jimmy Jags into the... Okay, we're getting all the good shots here. As punted, although is going to look to overtake him on the main straight maybe. very, very gentlemanly, like stayed behind him after he punted him. Yeah, it looks like he feels a bit sorry for that because he's not using any ERS and is going to stay behind Jimmy Jacks for another lap. And it looks like Lifeout's had another spin. So I don't know what's going on with him, whether he's pushing too hard, whether his setup's a bit loose at the moment, but he is looking to, and it looks like he's just picked up a warning there, unless my eyes are deceiving me, but he is he's doing his best to throw away probably quite a comfy win here, so he needs to either calm down or just take a tenth off and make sure he stays on track, because that has given a new lease of life to the two ahead of him, who worst tyres at the moment, but I imagine will be coming up to the pit window soon. As there you go, look at me go, as Mr. Cookie comes into the pits. Nicely done, no speeding penalty. We'll see what he puts on. I imagine it is a set of hards, and we will see. He will be hoping that it does not drop him back into that cluster of cars, and looks like he's going to get away with it, because it is quite a long time to the end of the pit lane here. So he might drop in behind Hazard in P9 with, I imagine, quite a good gap. So he's got a good gap to warm up his tyres and try the undercut on the Ferrari ahead of him. And we will see what Pink Eye does in regards to responding to that, whether he goes a lap later or he carries on a little bit and maybe gets the overcut and the fresher tyres at the end than his Aston Martin rival. But Lifeboat, yeah, 3.6 behind, which is not something I thought I'd be saying maybe 5 laps ago. He's had 2 spins in the space of 5 laps, and he's closing up on Pink Eye at the moment, but Pink Eye has a real chance here, because I mean that's maybe the gap you'd expect if they were the same pace and on differing strategies. So yeah, this race got a little bit more exciting, so thank you to Lifeboat. And we will see Pink Eye goes into the pits, and we will stay on board with him and see whether he gets out ahead of the Aston Martin behind him, as Jimmy Braggs picks up a 3-second penalty. I'm going to have a drink quickly. Nice. And we currently can't see anything. There we go. So looks like, I believe he's been in the pits already. I imagine he has, yes. Looks like we've had a Mercedes spinning at the final corner. And we'll go on board with Mr. Cookie and see whether he can jump the Ferrari, but it doesn't look like he can. No, he won't, but he's going to have much warmer tyres, so he's going to jump into the DRS of Pink Eye, I imagine. We'll see 1.6 behind, 1.5 behind, 1.3. There we go. So it's really, so he's going to have to push these next 2 corners, and yeah, these two might want to work together a little bit, because they're going to get a pretty hefty undercut on the. Looks like Aaron Blake has gone for a little spin there, which is a shame. But yeah, these guys are going to want to maybe work together, because Lifeboat is going to be, I imagine, well, I think he was 3.6 behind, maybe 6-7 seconds behind when he comes out, but it's going to be closing up pretty quickly. So if these guys can piggyback off each other with DRS, then they are giving themselves a much better chance of looks like Aaron Blake had another spin, which is a shame. Yeah, giving themselves a much better chance of winning this race, although I imagine they probably do not care about each other's races particularly much. And we will go on board with Lifeboat, who is coming out of the second corner, still on those hard tyres. Looks like Smithy has gone into the pits from P3. R. Henson's still out there on the hards. So those two looking good at the moment. Obviously Lifeboat with the spins. R. Henson, I don't believe, has had a spin, but it's still 10.8 seconds back. But that shows you the pace of the top 3 at the moment. But he is looking good at the moment for what I imagine would be a P4, and his teammates Jackalaka behind. Still on the mediums, so stretching those out a bit, but 7 seconds back from his hard running teammates. Mr. Cookie cooped up behind Pink Eye at the moment. Not the same amount of VRS, so these guys are looking like it's going to be a pretty straight fight to the end between these two, with Lifeboat probably catching them pretty heftily, I imagine, when he comes in. Got to see what lap this Lifeboat decides to come in. I can't imagine it's going to be for another 3 or 4, maybe 5 laps, because we're not even at half distance. We're not even at half distance yet. We're not even at half distance yet, so I've got a lot of more waffling to do. And Lifeboat has gone on for another lap. So yeah, he's going to be wanting to push, and these guys are going to want to build as big a gap as they can. And it looks like Pink Eye is trying to break the DRS from Mr. Cookie, and currently doing that quite successfully, as Mr. Cookie is, yeah, having to burn his ERS pretty heavily to stay within the 1 second, and it looks like he has done for this lap. So that is good for him. As Pink Eye sets the fastest lap of the race with an 18.1, so that's a rapid time from him. So I imagine they are, yeah, building a gap on Lifeboat pretty quickly. So it'll be very interesting to see how far Lifeboat is behind. And I imagine Lifeboat cannot afford any other spins, as Mr. Cookie has now dropped back out of DRS from Pink Eye, as Rick picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So maybe there's his chances of picking up some positions on penalties gone. Elsewhere, Essex Perry and Aero Blake behind P11 and P12, not having the best of races. Looks like we've got a crash between Smithy and Jacko. Oh, God, they're all over the place. Smithy and Jacko. I don't know what's gone on there, but they either spun together or they made contact. So I imagine the stewards will be having a look at that, of which I am one, so lucky me. So yeah, that's a shame for them. They were both running well, but that has promoted Arnold Matt up into P5, obviously after being punted by R. Henson. He'll be hoping to close back up, I imagine, but does have a 3-second penalty, so that is going to ruin his race a little bit. Mr. Cookie stabilising at about 1.2 behind Pink Eye, obviously dropped back out of DRS, but has more ERS at the moment. These two really, yeah, they're using it quite a lot at the moment. I imagine wary of the fact that they need to build a gap to Lifeboat, who is steadily streaking away from R. Henson at the front of the field, and Pink Eye, yeah, about, if my maths are going to work, I'm not a mathematician. What's that? That's about 30, about 32.5, I think, 32.5 seconds. No, oh Jesus, 23.5. I'm embarrassing myself in front of 4 people. 23.5 seconds. So I do not know the pit loss time here. I imagine it's around 25, I think. Looks like we've had a spinning Williams. Looks like, was that R. Henson? It was. So R. Henson had the spin. So the hard runners are not enjoying their hards they've been on from the start of the race. So that is going to bring them right into the clutches of the 2 medium runners behind them. So this could really help out Lifeboat. If R. Henson can hold up these guys and lose them maybe a second, that's going to, I mean, that's a second less the Lifeboat has to, excuse me, that has to gain in the final stint of the race. And I imagine Pink Eye is going to burn his ERS and is going to look to get past as quickly as possible, and is going to do so coming into the braking zone. So this might be slightly sketchy, although he has good overspeed and gets the move done. Mr. Cookie has really dropped back at the moment, so I don't know what has happened there, but he has, yeah, as I said, dropped back. So maybe looking like a relatively solitary P3 at the moment for Mr. Cookie if his pace continues. Obviously doesn't look like he has the pace of the top 2 at the moment, maybe a 10th or 2 off, but anything can happen. He is obviously a very quick driver, and we'll be hoping to pick up a bit of pace. Lifeboat still looking good out front, hasn't had a spin for a while, which he'll be happy about, and is currently coming up to the back of Rick to lap in, which I'm sure we will hear. Oh, he's ruined that one, so we won't hear about that. As Mr. Lifeboat, Mr. Cookie, no, Lifeboat get there in the end, as come into the pits for a set of mediums, and we will have to see how far behind he is between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin behind him. Is R. Henson going to come into the pits? I imagine so, as Jimmy Chags picks up a 3-second penalty. R. Henson does come into the pits, so we'll have to see, keep an eye out on where that puts him as he destroys the pit marker board, which I'm sure the FIA will be buzzing about, as Lifeboat is dropping behind. And has, do you know what, that is not as much as I thought it would be. Jesus, I thought we were going to 7 or 8 seconds. That is some, he's put in some rapid laps there, Lifeboat has. It looks like we have had SX Perry, unfortunately, spin and has promoted Rick up to P11. I don't know how those guys, I swear they were like a minute off the back. I don't know how they've caught up so quickly, but who knows, maybe they haven't pitted. But yeah, that's that's really good for Lifeboat. He has a very good shot of winning this race now because he can warm up those tyres as aggressively or as slowly as he wants, and he's going to have pretty considerable pace coming into the last third of this race. Pink Eye will be hoping that Mr. Cookie puts up a pretty stout event. In fact, we will look at warnings. Maybe not. We will look at warnings now. Pink Eye with the 1. We've got Mr. Cookie on 0 warnings and Lifeboat on 0 warnings. So nicely done from then. So hopefully penalties won't play a factor in the rest of this race. And it does look like Pink Eye, really good at this. Mr. Cookie is closing in to Pink Eye, although it looks like he has used a bit more ERS. So this is shaping up to be an exciting next 12 laps. Thank you for the two people joining to watch us. A big crowd out. And as I said, we'll keep an eye on P4 We've got Imola Matt, who has not dropped into the DRS, or he has just now. So he might be hoping to use, the next 2 laps, because our Henson's going to be on a much faster time, and he's not going to the DRS. So that might be P4 sewn up for our Henson, and maybe a penalty coming his way. I'm not saying anything, I'm an impartial commentator, but might be a penalty coming his way. Looks like we've had like Jimmy Jags or Jack Arco into the pits, into last place. So he'll be hoping to, I imagine, push up 5 seconds ahead, and then he will be safe in P4 penalty, P4 penalty or no penalty. So yeah, looking like a good result for. Oh, that's going to make it easier for Ryan as Imola Matt spins. Does a beautiful double pirouette. Can he do it again? No, he decides 2 is enough, and has dropped down to P7, unfortunately. So yeah, that's a shame for him. Obviously, maybe a bit up higher without the contact on lap 10 or something, whatever it was. Elsewhere, we have Lifeboat already into the DRS of Mr. Cookie. So Pink Eye is going to be praying right now that Mr. Cookie does a Sergio Perez Abu Dhabi 2021 and keeps Lifeboat up behind for as long as he can, because right now Lifeboat's tyres are going to be beautifully fresh. You can see they've still got the shine on the outside of them because they are that fresh. So they're going to be rapid. The 2 up front on the harder compounded tyres, and you can just see the grip that Lifeboat has through Acqua Minerale. There we go again. I know that corner if you can't tell. And yeah, beautifully done into the chicane, and we'll be looking to line up Mr. Cookie on the main straight. Significantly more ERS, I imagine. He does. Pink Eye saving his ERS a little bit. Maybe we didn't look at the straight line speeds of the guys. Pink Eye maybe thinking, if I save up my ERS, I can, and it looks like Lifeboat is going to get past Mr. Cookie pretty easily here, and he does so before we even get to, I think that's technically turn 1 actually there. Yeah, so Mr. Cookie has been passed by Lifeboat, and Lifeboat is looking pretty ominous right now, despite the fact that he has spun twice and lost about 6 seconds from it. So yeah, a pretty good drive from him. Yeah, he'll be hoping to pick up the win, which would, I imagine, catapult him into championship contention pretty easily. It looks like he did pick up poles, so that's 2 points. If he picks up 25 points for the win, and I think he has the fastest lap, if I can find where that is. Yeah, so he does have the fastest lap at the moment, and I imagine we'll be extending that at some point because he went fastest in the first sector, and it looks like he's already into the DRS of. Oh God, no, I've got to find a way to get rid of it. Yeah, he's already into the DRS of Pink Eye ahead of him. So we'll be. Oh, Jackalacco does the fastest lap of the race. So Pink Eye, Lifeboat, has got a bit of a challenge to get it back, but it looks like he is not using his. There we go. Good timing from him. Looks like he is not using his ERS at the moment, so letting Pink Eye stay ahead for another lap and probably sizing up into the turn 1 on the next lap. Mr. Cookie has dropped back pretty heavily, so yeah, as I said, maybe a solitary P3 for him at the moment, and the way things are looking, as you can just see the grip the Lifeboat has through I'm trying to remember it. It's not Variante, Variante Alto, is it? I know one of them's called that, but I'm not sure which one. But yeah, you could, whatever that corner is, you can see the grip that Lifeboat had through it, and that was, if you only needed an indicator for who is the quicker man at this stage, and that is it. And just look, yeah, Aqua Minerale. Yeah, closing up maybe a couple of tenths, and I imagine we'll look to get past on the end of this lap and streak away for what would be a very well-deserved win. Smithy has picked up a 3-second penalty. I think I saw Rick pick up a 3-second penalty. So that, I'll look at penalties. So currently, yeah, drops Rick back into P11 and P12 actually, because Jackalacko does not have any penalties. And here we go. Pink Eye is burning that ERS to stay ahead for another lap. It looks like Lifeboat has given him that luxury and is decided to stay back again. Thinks better of making a move and is going to try again for the next lap. Mr. Cookie in P3 is really dropping back now, so that might be our podium sorted, unless that there is any major changes, because our Henson is 25 seconds back currently, and looking very good for a P4 at the moment. And Lifeboat has so much more grip coming out of the left-hander. I imagine it's a matter of time. It's a case of if, no, it's a case of when, not if. And unless Pink Eye has set that car up for the straights, and Lifeboat finds that he actually can't get past, because he's looking really quick through the corners compared to Pink Eye. So maybe Pink Eye has set that car up for a bit more straight line speed, and this might not be as easy as I'm saying it is. As we've got 4 people watching. Hi guys, again, please super chat because I need money. Yep, we will see what Pink Eye decides to do in terms of VRS on this straight. It's still got more than Lifeboat, so it's picking, well, yeah, saving it pretty well, and is looking like he does have that car set up for the straight line. Although Lifebout with the DRS, with the ERS, making a move around the outside. This is going to be a great move if he can get it done into turn 1. Decides not to. Pink Eye move to the apex of turn 2, and Lifebout decides to not make the move. And Pink Eye's doing a very good job of keeping the much quicker AlphaTauri behind. And the longer he does this, the more chance that Lifebout is going to make a mistake. We know what he's like. He does have a mistake in him. Although I imagine he is quite comfortable right now in terms of the pace he has. You can see how quickly these two are dropping Mr. Cookie. So that undercut did not work for Mr. Cookie in the end, with the obviously 1 lap older tyres than Pink Eye ahead of him. And it looks like Lifebout might make a move into the chicane, which would be brave. Pink Eye cuts back across, and that move is not going to happen. And we will see what happens on to the main straight. Apologies if I am fixated on this this battle for the lead, but I will go back down and have a look at everyone else in a moment, and I will give you a nice camera angle of Lifebout's latest attempt to get past the Ferrari man in the lead, and he is very, very close, only 2 tenths behind, so he's going to give it another go, burning the ERS, and looking like he is really struggling to get alongside that Ferrari at the moment. Going to the inside, ooh, and there's contact between the two. They both get away with it. Oh, Lifebout almost spins, so that looked, I don't know, I'm an impartial commentator, no comment. Looked like there was a little bit less room on the inside than maybe there was on the outside, but they both got away with it, so I imagine we'll be going back for a round 2, or I think it's around 3 or 4 at this point. And the longer Pink Eye does this, the more chance he has of winning this race. There is only 6 laps left, or 7 maybe, I'm not sure. 6 or 7, so yeah, every lap that Lifeboat cannot get past, his tyres are getting worse. Pink Eye's tyres comparatively are getting better, and I will quickly look at penalties to see if there is any. Pink Eye is on, no warnings. Lifeboat is on, no warnings, and Mr. Cookie, although Mr. Cookie doesn't matter at the moment, he is on one warning. So there we go. Yeah, penalties not looking like they're going to be a factor for the top 2 at the moment, as Lifeboat is going to make his latest attempt on Mr. Pink Eye's lead, and we will have to see what happens as Pink Eye is burning his ERS, and yeah, definitely has that car set up more for the straights than Lifeboat does. We will have to see whether Lifeboat can make the move this time. Goes to the outside, still not ahead going into the braking zone. Does he brake later? He does. Looks like, ooh, these guys don't like racing each other. As Pink Eye has made a little bit of a wiggle and has lost that position. So I imagine there will be some chat about some of the moves afterwards, but for now Lifeboat has made his way up into P1 and is already a second ahead. So that might be the on-track race sorted for now. We never know about penalties, we'll have to see. As Mr. Cookie has closed up a little bit on Pink Eye, so we'll be hoping that he has found a couple of tenths on his back pocket and maybe can push up to the Ferrari, who looks like he is losing a little bit of time and has burned a lot of ERS trying to stay ahead of Lifeboat, and has a good 60% more, or less, sorry, than the Aston Martin behind him. So this is over for P2. If Mr. Cookie can find a bit more pace and really burn that ERS to get within the DRS, although we saw how hard it was for Lifeboat to get past Pink Eye, who has obviously a bit of a rocket shop on the straights, then maybe we will see what Mr. Cookie can do. But yeah, we'll go down the field elsewhere. It's not looking particularly exciting down the field. We've got SX Perry in the pits from last to last. We've had Jimmy Jags, who's picked up 12 seconds of penalties and is looking like he's going to pick up a P11 at the moment. And Rick is doing, you know what, very good job. He's up in P9. He does have Jackalaka behind him, who has no penalties, so that's a P10. But a P10, that's 10 points. And if we're thinking Lifeboat's going to pick up 20. Excuse me, 28 I think it would be with fastest lap and pole, then that's only 18 points lost, and that is a pretty good return for someone who is doing a controller race, and controller is notoriously hard as well around Imola. Trust me, I know it is tough to get through some of the corners with a little stick and your thumb. So he's done a very good job. Looks like Pink Eye is closing in. Sorry, Mr. Cookie is closing in on Pink Eye, and not through the use of ERS. So I don't know what's happened here. Maybe Pink Eye has cooked his tyres a little bit, trying to keep Lifeboat behind. But Mr. Cookie, although he is, if you can hear me, Mr. Cookie, you're going to want to start burning your ERS pretty soon, because you've only got 3 laps left, and you are losing time to Pink Eye on the straights. So either Mr. Cookie is pretty content with a P3, or he just doesn't feel like he can push up and doesn't want to risk spinning. But yeah, up front, Lifeboat having a pretty comfy race now, 3 seconds ahead of his nearest rival, and he's going to, I imagine, cruise to the end. A little bit of traffic ahead of him, but obviously with ghosting, that's not going to make much of a difference. Henson pretty comfy in P4 at the moment, as we said he probably would be. So yeah, that's going to be good from him. Pretty up for, what's that, 18 points. So yeah, hefty points all from him. Hazard doing well in P5. We've got Mercedes of Smithy and Armawad Matt, who are currently in P6 and 7. And Aaron Blake in his final race is comfy in P8, as it looks like Jackalaka has got past Rick, who will be hoping to stay ahead of Jimmy Jags. Go on, Jimmy. Jimmy is very good at burning his ERS, I must say. I don't think I've gone on board with him once, and he hasn't had less than 10%. So that's good from him. Jackalaka coming into the pits for whatever reason, maybe going for the fastest lap for some reason. Maybe Rick and Jack are in a party together, and Rick's telling him to get that fastest lap point off Lifeboat, because that is a strange decision from him. But we'll have to wait and see. As I imagine he's put on the soft, so we'll find out. He has, and Essex Perry has as well. So maybe Essex Perry's in a party with Lifeboat, telling him to do the exact same thing. But Lifeboat is probably not going to worry about any of that right now, because he is cruising to another win. It looks like Mr. Cookie is coming for... Mr. Cookie has come in from P3 with 3 laps to go and has dropped behind our Henson. So that is a bit of a clanger from him. I don't know why he's done that. He must have thought he had the gap, but he didn't. He definitely didn't. So he is going to make this worthwhile, he's going to have to pass our Henson for a podium and pick up the fastest lap, which is going to be tough for him, as he is he's still got to warm up his tyres at the moment. So I don't know why he's done that, but time will tell whether that was a good decision or not. I don't think it was. I feel like he could have just probably better off just taking the podium, not risking it. But yeah, if he is going to, yeah, he's going to have to pass our Henson probably on the main straight right now if he wants any chance of getting a fastest lap. We'll have to see whether he does. He's not in the DRS at the moment, so this is a strange decision from him. I don't know why he's done that, but we'll wait and see whether that has been as disastrous as I think it was, as it looks like Rick has got past Jimmy. Go on, Jimmy. Jimmy's making a move around the outside of Rick. Rick goes a little bit deep. Jimmy with a switchback. Jimmy with a switchback on Rick. Beautiful move. Burning that ERS as Rick moves across to cover him. Jimmy, send it up the inside. Go on, Jimmy. No, not yet. He does. He goes. Jimmy sends it up the inside. Forces Rick off. Rick comes back on track. This is great. It's the best one. And Rick backs up. So that was good from Jimmy. That was some I'm not going to use the word beautiful racing. That was certainly racing, but Jimmy moves himself up into P9 with a perfectly judged dive bomb, as Mr. Cookie is still behind our Henson. So this has, yeah, this has been a strange one from him. It looks like Lifebite is going to come across pretty easily in minutes, so we'll jump on board with him when we can. But yeah. Our Henson is going to want to hold up Mr. Cookie here because this is good for his championship as well. Obviously, Lifebite was winning, but Rick down in P10 and being passed by Jimmy Jags. So, yeah, Mr. Cookie, I mean, it could help him. It looks like Rick has got past Jimmy Jags with the use of DRS. So Jimmy is going to want to, I imagine, send it back. And our Henson has been passed by Mr. Cookie into the second to last corner. So, Jesus, fair play to Mr. Cookie. I don't know if that was our Henson letting him through or what, but that would have been a good move. So Mr. Cookie is not going to have the DRS and is going to have a bit of a task on his hands to, I don't know why he's gone onto the mediums if he was going for the fastest lap. We should have gone onto the softs, even if they were worn. But yeah, it's going to have a bit of a tough time considering that Jack Alaco has just picked up the fastest lap point and is on the softs. I imagine you can hear me a little bit more. And has picked up a 3-second penalty, you moron. So that's P4 gone for him pretty much, as we will jump on board, P3 even, sorry. We will jump on board with Lifebite. It has been a pretty dominant drive from him. Obviously a bit of a scuffle with Pink Eye towards the end of the race, but yeah, other than that, has looked pretty comfy and comes across to win round 9 of BRL at Imola. Pink Eye coming across with P2, so a good haul of points from him. And Mr. Cookie has, I don't know what he's done here, but he might get away with it if he can really push now. But it looks like our Henson is burning that ERS as he should be to try and stay on the podium. And it looks like Mr. Cookie might have thrown it away here. I don't know how he's done this, but I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's Mr. Cookie, and he isn't. He's going to, oh, maybe he is, and we'll run to the line, but I think he might. No, Mr. Henson picks up the podium. So. Yeah, Mr. Cookie has sacrificed 2 points to get 1 point there. So a strange trade from him. But yeah, I mean, if anyone was going to do it, it is Mr. Cookie. So I probably should have seen it coming. Elsewhere, Hazard picks up a nice P5. Smithy and Weimar Matt, the two Mercedes, in P6 and 7. We've got Era Blake in P8. P8 and Rick in P9. Looks like Jack Alaco, Jimmy Jags must have had a little bit of a spin. Jack Alaco in P10, Jimmy Jags in P11, and Essex Perry in P12. As Mr. Cookie says that it was all planned, and I do not believe him. Do some football scores. It's Arsenal 2, Everton 0, which is a shame, and it is Liverpool 0, Wolves 0. Which is not a shame. And Grimsby still beating Southampton. So well on them. Okay. Right, as we will, we see Lifeboat coming on with a beautiful reef. It's very nice, and that it's gone now. So yeah, picks up the. Very likely our Henson getting a pen, didn't want to do the interviews because of Jimmy's stupid questions. Okay, fair enough. Well, fair play to him. If he doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine. I won't take it personally. As we will get the top 3, which includes our Henson now, in for interviews, and I will tag them. And get them in if I can. There you go. There is your classification. I will not read it out because you can see it. But Lifeboat 1. Supercheck says nice battling Rick, which you, the viewer, will have to decide whether he's chatting shite or not. But Rick seems to agree. So there we go. As I will try and get the top 3 in for interviews, although Pink Eye is notorious for just running off. So I'll see what I can do. As R. Henson is getting a penalty potentially. That is a good point from Mr. Cookie. So it actually is all planned. That's a very good idea because he's a genius. Can we interview Mr. Cookie? If the people want to interview Mr. Cookie, then we can interview Mr. Cookie. We want Steve-O. Yeah, I want Steve-O as well, Jimmy. But we'll see. Right, let me get everyone in a party. Matthew Martin wants to be our friend. That's exciting. We'll see what. Here we go. Right. We will get. We'll get Mr. Cookie in there. Why not? We'll get Pink Eye if he wants. We'll get Lifeboat. And even though Rick finished P9, he's not getting the party. We know he loves a good P9 interview. But not today. Not on my watch. Let me see if I can get R. Henson in. And yeah, R. Henson, Lifeboat, and Mr. Cookie, as I imagine Pink Eye has legged it. So we'll get three race, what is it, 3-word race reviews from 3 guys. Looks like we've got Lifeboat and Mr. Cookie. There we go. And we wait for everyone to turn up so we can ask them some questions. And now we wait, I think. As I'm a one that's not going to report. Not going to report. So Mr. Cookie is flip-flopping between a genius and a looks like we've got R. Henson in here. Mr. Cookie is flip-flopping between a genius and an idiot at the moment, so we will see what happens with that. We're waiting for Lifeboat and Mr. Cookie. Lifeboat's in a lobby with Jana Watman. I don't know, what was he doing? Yeah, we'll interview you first. So I say we in the commentary box, I thought he was going for the fastest lap, but he's playing out like he knew he was going to get P3 anyway because you're potentially getting a penalty. We saw. I don't know. I don't believe you, but fair enough. We will wait and see. So we'll start with you, Hansen. Obviously, apart from punting Matt off, a pretty lonely race for you. Went with the hards to start with and kind of cruised to a pretty comfy P4. Was it as boring as maybe it looked from up here? Yeah, so I imagine you are pretty happy with this result, considering you will, I imagine, close up to the championship leaders still. We were at the start of the stream. I was quite surprised that you were on 140 points and pretty high up there. So maybe a championship charge on. Right. Okay. I'm chatting. I do not know. I'm not. I'm not good at. This is Carter's thing. This isn't my thing. Let me have a look. Jesus, this is good interviews now. No, I don't know how to do it. Right. I'll keep. Well, if someone could tell me how to do it, then that would be great. I'll try and work out how to. This is what you get when car doesn't turn up. It's not particularly great quality. Changing the party. Let's find out. If not, then I mean, well, to be fair, I want to hear from Life about what happened with Pink Eye, but mute all voice chat settings. Right, try speak now. Because someone tell me if we can hear our Anton.
Everyone hear me now? Right, try speak
No,
now.
we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Oh well, maybe no interviews today then. Alex, I'm not translating for you on stream. But actually, I do want to hear from. I will translate for Lifebout because you need to go off and race with Jano Otmir. Yeah, you need to, apparently. If you are there, Lifebout. He's in it. Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, whilst you're racing, you can tell us what happened with Pink Eye because it looked a little bit spicy towards the end of the race there. Okay, I've got to now translate what you said. So, Lifebout said that Pink Eye had very low wings, and he felt that Pink Eye pushed him onto the curb, and therefore, Mr. Cookie, there's no point joining the party, mate. We can't eat. And no, I don't know how to change it on the settings. You're just here to please Jimmy, aren't you? Jimmy, you can join to hear the interviews, but I am turning off the stream now, so that's up to you. Can I be bothered? No. Right. Well, yeah, I'm trying to find it. I can't. Where's that on? Is that it? Group? Three dots. Yeah, it's not muted. Who knows? Allow. Who knows? Oh well. I'll sign off the stream. This is what happens when Carter's not here because it all goes to shit. Thank you guys for watching BRL Run 9. It wasn't the most exciting race, but I managed to waffle around it nonetheless. And we will see you next week for, I believe it's Portugal, when we find out Carter's age, and hopefully we have an exciting race for you guys. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. And I'm not going to ask our Henson Cookie to sign out because you won't be able to hear them. So bye from me, and yeah, thank you for watching.